One, and we should be going.
Welcome back to another session of No Small Feat, a Fabula Ultima campaign set in the fantastical world of Midgardheim. I'm your game master. And tonight we are doing a sort of, interlude session where we clean up some loose ends of the last plot and get on to the next. So I'm going to say we start in medias res. We just watched the Terror Tatzelworm drive off the Ravening Beast. You're all hanging out in the backyard, more or less, of Hammerschmidt's mansion. All the NPCs are standing there for you to approach in video game fashion and talk to them before you leave the area. So, the NPCs that you can talk to at the moment, George, the Sphinx, the clever Tatzelworms are all together. The Terror Tatzelworm is hanging out. And Clara Saddle is here too.
Okay.
So you can have any conversations you want to wrap things up.
Did anyone get the water horse out of the pond, or is it still hiding down there?
All the animals are waiting off to the side. All the creatures, I should say, since some of them are too sapient to be considered animals. In the non-human, in the non-person sense. But all of the creatures from the are out that survived. Obviously, the Bonacon is probably still down there, but all the survivors are out and free. You could talk to the others, I suppose, but they don't have a whole lot of story relevant stuff. But yeah, they're all there, and they're all kind of figuring out what they're gonna do next.
Okay.
As for you guys, you just saw the Ravening Beast get its ass kicked, and also one of you punched a man's head off. So, you guys have had a day too.
Yeah. So how's George Garston doing?
Kind of a 1,000-yard stare. Some of the surviving guests, of which there are not that many, have thanked him and whatnot. But very few have lingered. They've all been very quick to get their shit and go. Understandably so. So he's kind of, and he's not hanging out with the various monsters because, I mean, guilt. He's sort of found a secluded spot, and he's just kind of hanging out, staring at his helmet.
Should he be the first one we talk to, I think?
I mean, he can be.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
I mean, if you want to do your stuff with the Sphinx first, sure. Go ahead.
No, I kind of wanted us to speak to George first. He seems like he needs some reassurance.
He had a day,
You did have a day.
He's kind of had a time.
Not only did he see a bunch of people... Oh, sorry, go.
No, it's just I've been complicit in such horrible things. Now I need a break.
Not only did he see a bunch of people get murdered by something he unintentionally helped, but he also saw his employer get his head just knocked straight off.
And he enjoyed it, which is probably the worst part for him.
Sir George, it's over.
Yes, so it is. Good work. You and your friends acted very heroically.
Indeed, we did.
Which I, yes.
It's a mess, though, wasn't it?
Yes, but you know, as a knight, my understanding is that we have to do what our Lord asks us to do. And if I mean, we have a part, I suppose, to play in the messes that we make, that our lords make, but...
Edmund, do you mind if I speak very frankly and plainly with you for a second?
Sure.
That whole line that about knights having to serve the person they've sworn fealty to, it's a load of bollocks. It's shit. It's horse shit. It's
You can
You
say
don't-
it's bullshit.
you don't serve someone because you swore an oath to them. You serve someone because they're worthy of being served. And if the person you've sworn an oath to is not worthy of your service, then it's not unknightly behavior to swear them off, even if the people at court will tell you otherwise. You should listen to your conscience. He's looking at his helmet as he says this. You should listen to your conscience. Even if it's being really frustratingly unclear.
I see.
And he stops and he shakes his head and he lets the helmet drop. He doesn't like throw it or anything, but like he just lets it drop out of his hands onto the grassy ground. And he can't look you in the eye as he just sort of like glances off to the side and just continues to shake his head, and he's just like, but I mean what I say, and I do not mean it as a shallow compliment, but as one of the highest caliber. You all did hero's work today. And I feel that your consciences are definitely not unclear.
Well, if long as there's still blood in all our veins, our hearts are still beating, we always have the chance to listen. Even if we ignored it before, each new day brings a new opportunity to listen.
And that gets a little bit of a smile out of him. He's like, that's true. There's always the chance to do better each day than you did the last. It's a very good way to think of it. Of course, there's also the chance that you do something much, much worse, but one cannot gain anything without having the risk of loss, so...
Learning is just a part of life, and sometimes it sucks. But at the very least, unlike the now headless clown, you can at least learn from your mistakes. He was old enough that he could have, but chose not to.
And George, I don't know anything about knighthood or anything about codes of honor, but like I've said, I'm only a farmer, but part of being someone that tends to, as someone that helps other things grow, you have to be able to recognize a blight and know when you have to call it out. And that's what we did here.
He nods just a little sadly. You know, I was a farmer's son once too, you know. Sometimes wonder what would have happened if I'd stayed with that life. You know what the really fascinating thing is? We had all these beasts, these serpents, all of these creatures trapped with all of us people, and they ran amok, they certainly did. But you managed to pacify them without killing a single one. For today, I wouldn't have thought such a feat was even possible.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit of kindness, a little understanding that we're all going through our own things. They aren't so different, really. He says, looking over at like the clever worms.
Mm-hmm.
George, I'm going to be honest with you. And I think you deserve the honesty, no matter how much it might sting at first. I didn't think much of you when we first met. I thought you were another mindless, senseless brute who only saw animals to be slain and not things to be appreciated. But that isn't what I'm looking at now, George. You said it yourself, you don't slay things for the fun of it, or because you want to. Sometimes, yes, you can talk these creatures down just like you would talk down a person. But they are exactly like people, George. And sometimes you can't count on talking them down either. Don't blame yourself for that.
Thank you for your honesty. And I think you are right that there are some times when violence is necessary, but I also feel like from this point forth, I need to start looking for that other solution first.
It's a lesson you had to learn first. And you've learned it.
Where are you all headed next?
She looks to everybody else like, I'm not entirely sure, actually.
Wasn't the next stop Langshad? The mayor there, yes?
Magistrate.
That's what I remember.
Magistrate.
Where the next jewel should be.
Glancing back at the rest of the now freed creatures, do need to do something about most of them.
Well, Go ahead.
A good number of them could eke out a decent existence in these mountains. And those that can't, And those that can't, I know well enough to try and help them find a way to a habitat that would be more suitable, if they'd let me. I also think it might be good if someone went to the capital and tried to get some of the other lords and ladies in on what's happening in this part of Anglesex. See if we can make it so that wandering heroes aren't the only ones dealing with the ravening beasts prowling the streets.
Oh, have we told you about? And then kind of flinches, looking at the group. Did we tell him about what we lost recently?
I think we.
'Cause I think we should warn him.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't had the opportunity to discuss that.
So
I don't know if you
George,
ever told him about the crown jewels before this event. Like, it came out when you were talking to Vatara Tatzelworm. I don't think you actually told him about the crown
Oh,
jewel quest
that's-
at all.
Okay. So,
You might have, but I don't remember it.
So George,
I don't really remember it
should-
either.
Because you were all very
Probably-
guarded with the previous interactions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Looking to the group, should we bring him up to speed?
Might as well.
At this point,
Yes.
I think he's one of the best people to tell.
Yeah, and if you're going to the capital, you can spread word. Warning. I don't know if Charles should be the one delivering this. So, Batman exposition. Wait.
We can just explain what happened, bring him up to speed on Bitchface McGee.
Hmm.
Maybe keep out the parts
Commercial
where we
break.
robbed a man.
Possibly.
Well,
And that
Yes.
gem that we now recovered from the prince's remains is why we initially, one of the reasons we came here, in fact. So now you are caught up to speed.
Sense that Malus would be trying to make a play for herself. She was always... I only met her a few times, but she was always very vocally firm on there being a class divide in our country.
Oh,
She didn't
One
like
thing-
knights like me who were promoted from peasantry.
one thing I should warn you, George. In her residence, we discovered many remains of dragons, but one thing we did not discover, and perhaps you'd be able to grasp the importance of this, there were no teeth. And she has a personal guard.
I think she's made some spar toys.
I grew up with descendants of Spartoy, and I believe she's made some herself, yes.
For my fellow Bretonch natives in Mediterra, there's this well-known spell from antiquity where one uses the teeth of dragons to make an army of very aggressive, very deadly human soldiers. Called Spartoi. I've heard a couple of people talk about attempting it, but never thought anyone would actually have the chutzpah to pull it off.
As much as I don't like her, she did have a lot of unfortunate drive.
She is
I
a
will BRB.
fierce woman.
I
I'll keep
will
on my...
BRB.
Okay. But I'll keep on my guard. Meanwhile, as we wait for Charles to come back... Wait, it's not Offbeat Melody. What can I do? I can't just do a commercial break.
Meanwhile, at Long Lankins,
No, we did this once before. Get out of my shop.
it's just like what we do in the shadows with the camera crews reel.
I'm not that complex of a character.
so we're gonna do what we can, Sir George, to get all the jewels we can and I guess naturally we'll have to confront Malus. Man, I mean, I was crossing my fingers that maybe that big old wolf would get her, but maybe I shouldn't put my faith in that, seeing now.
I don't think we'll be so lucky. I think once we get the creature situation resolved, I'm going to try and get some of the lords and ladies who I know would be relatively trustworthy to try and get them on our side and make sure that you're not doing this all alone.
Yes. We would
May not be-
greatly appreciate that.
I may not be high ranking as aristocracy go, but I do have a lot of pull just through sheer reputation.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, Subway got delivered.
Don't worry about it. All we establish is that George is going to try and help you guys by getting the trustworthy asterisk members of aristocracy to like send some knights to help deal with shit.
Yeah. Good.
Also, did we tell him about how the Fae, there's now the new group in the evil bitches old town?
Oh, I think we can leave that there, a little secret. We don't have to have people know that the current countess is a fairy queen.
Okay.
Yeah. One other thing, Sir George. I'm sure if you knew too much about this, you would have alerted me already, but in the Count's papers, it seemed to indicate that he thought my mother, Lady Guilford, was still alive. Again, I'm sure you don't know much about that, but if you're meeting the other nobles, the trustworthy ones, if you hear anything about her, greatly appreciate anything you could share.
By my honor as a knight, I will look into it, and whatever I find, I shall relay to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you for what you've done today. Yeah. Showed this old dog some new tricks.
There's something I want to say to George before he leaves, but I don't want to say it in front of everybody else, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
Charles will just.
Well, again, as in RPG style, he's saying he's going to leave, but he's going to hang out here until you leave the area.
If we wait long enough, all the other characters' dialogue will start looping.
Welcome to Corneria! Welcome to Corneria!
No!
Oh no.
What's wrong with this one? Traumatized.
Yeah. Other notable characters to talk to if we're done with George, or if we want to have solo time with George before we do any other thing with him. There's the Sphinx, there's the Clever Tatzelworms, the Terror Tatzelworms, and Clara Saddle, too.
Charles can go ahead with the Sphinx.
Yeah.
Oh no, putting me on the spot.
Unless
Okay.
he
Yeah.
doesn't want to.
Oh no, it's fine.
Talk to your girlfriend, Charles!
Yeah.
Not official yet. Dang it.
Yet.
Montblanc's going to look over at the Sphinx, look to you, give you a little nudge, and start making his way over the pterodactyl worms.
Yeah, and Charles is just gonna like give him a look and just be like, "Don't you have some doodles to catch up on?"
I'm already caught up on them, my friend.
Why don't you go
But
do
you-
something?
But you, my good sir, have some catching up to do with the lady. Have fun. Pat, pat. Just
I think there might be some cultural drift I'm not getting. All right. Heading over to the Sphinx. And I'm guessing the Gorgon as well.
Yeah, the Gorgon's there. All of the Greek monsters are with her, actually. The Hydra, the Chimera. the griffins, or the griffin and the hippogriff, the cockatrices. And she is currently licking her paw with her human head, which has a cat tongue. Don't think too hard about what that would be like.
No.
You.
Jellicle cats are Jellicle cats.
And when you approach, she, lowers her paw and looks at you and gives you a respectful nod of her head. Charles.
And he'll return the nod and then look to the rest. Everyone else kind of around and goes, "Are you and the others doing better now that you're free?"
Quite so. I was thinking it would take them back home.
Was actually going to ask if you could do that, yes, and perhaps if you could help me, or if you could help send the others, kind of gesturing to the other monster, or not monsters, the other creatures around, those that wouldn't be as comfortable in Acepton.
I'm afraid you overestimate how well I know the world. But do not fear. They will find homes in the end. As will you.
I know I can't return yet until I... And then he kind of looks back to the group of people he's found himself with. We have our quest to complete before I can come home.
And though her face is as stoic as ever, and her eyes just those pools of stars hung in an abyss, you do get a slight twinge of sadness or pity as she cocks her head looking at you and says, "It's not that there are no other paths for you. You could, if you wished, return with me right now. But you know as well as I do that if you did, that without your aid, this kingdom and our town with it would fall to ruin. It is a choice, even if it does not feel like it. To sacrifice your personal happiness, at least in the short term, for that of others. But it is important that it is a choice.
And it is a choice I am willing to make and have made.
And she stalks forward, and there is a part of you that just instinctively bristles as this larger than a lion-sized big cat immediately invades your personal space bubble and begins to do that sort of predatory cat circle, but not in a predatory way, in the way that lions socialize, where they go around each other and do the sniffies and all that. And she says very quietly, "I'm sorry I did not tell you flat out. It was not how it was supposed to be done. But just because this was the right outcome does not mean that my methods were right. Does that make sense?"
Maybe not now, but someday I'm sure I'll understand.
And I want you to understand that this was not entirely unselfish on my part. For if you had not been lost and not gone on this quest, not only would this kingdom fall to ruin, but no one would have broken me free of those chains. And I would have died in that menagerie. And so I thank you and apologize, because I lied to you to make you save me, and I caused you a great deal of strife, so that you would save the world. And that could be justified, but that does not change the fact that it was cruel. And for that I am sorry.
Kind of quiet as he seems to be absorbing that.
It's fair. I do not expect you to think highly of me, but I thank you all the same for what you have sacrificed, and what you will continue to sacrifice for the greater good.
Please believe me when I say I don't blame you for this, even if that is something that you maybe deserve. It's just I don't.
That makes you very kind. I wish you all the best on your quest. I am fairly certain you will succeed. And when you return to Aesopton, there will be a hero's welcome for you. I will make sure your name is remembered. And with that, she gives you, for the first time, a facial expression, which is a very, very sweet, very coy little smile.
Again, Charles is not quite sure how to react to that one. And he goes, I am looking forward to returning home. He just kind of like chuckles as he goes, I do hope my brother is taking care of my orchard.
I'm sure they are. Is there any message you would like me to take back?
He kind of like thinks about it as he holds the barrel over his shoulder full of dirt as you go, I thought of maybe giving this to you to bring back, but I should be the one to bring it back. But
She nods.
Tell my brother and my family that I miss them and that I look forward to seeing them again.
It shall be done. All right. Are we good?
Yeah. Also, how does this is actually something I meant to ask probably out of game, but
Yeah.
how does Charles as an arcanist when he when he gains the arcanum, because she was the inspiration for him getting the arcanum of the gate, just as the who was the spirit of the dead, the god of the dead in the doppelganger town?
Godfather Death.
Yeah, Godfather Death was his inspiration for the arcanum of the tower.
or guard Father Death, technically by Midgheim terms. But yeah, I would imagine it would just be you reflecting on those encounters and what they meant to you and how they figuratively and in both cases literally touched you, and finding a spark of magic from that. That's what would make sense to me. That essentially you are establishing a very unconventional witch connection.
Okay.
Something to do in an interlude with some meditation. Or we can just say that
actually-
you did what I just said right now.
Well, that kind of ties into something that I had considered, for well, I don't know if I don't want to dominate time, but there was that thing about how our roles in the story could change.
Mm-hmm.
Charles is becoming the riddle seeker and story, he's the riddle seeker.
Yeah.
Now that
The
he's
wise
had the
man.
encounter with the Sphinx again.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. We're allowed to talk about our wonderful character progression. All right. If we are done with that bit, they have the clever Tatzelworms, the terror Tatzelworm, Clara Saddle, and Bright Eyes wants a last word with George. Which do we want to do next?
Well, I had made.
I mean, you don't have to do them. We can move on if you didn't want to do any of the others.
No, we really want to talk to them. It's just deciding who next.
Mhm.
I had made the
problem.
mention when Charles was going to talk with the Sphinx that Mont Blanc was making his way to the Terror Tatzelworms. So let's go there.
The big terror Tatzelworm or the small clever Tatzelworms?
The clever Tatzelworms. I meant the clever, not the terror.
Yeah. Okay. So they have, their idle animation is them sort of playing and being frisky and mischievous. But when you approach, they all stand at attention. In that somewhat unsettling way that a small pack of very large creatures with an avian body language would do, even though they're technically, lizards.
Yes. Hello. Y'all doing okay?
And they all look at each other. Yeah, quite well. We're free. We're about to get back to the mountain.
Nice. So listen, I don't know if the others are interested, but I'm a bit curious. Like looking specifically to the tiger after one and going, how'd you do it? I want to know.
And they all pull back their reptilian lips to bare their teeth in what amounts to a grin, you hope. And the tiger says, well, we noticed that the spell that summoned chickens into our tank to eat always came from the same spot. And after scratching at that spot, we noticed some deep grooves in it, and we realized that someone had written the words of magic into the dirt.
Interesting.
Now, we Tatzelworms aren't the best with magic. We don't understand it as well as your wizards do. But we reasoned out a few things after watching enough times, and figured out that the chickens were being summoned from someplace else. And that if we just swapped the runes a little bit, we could be summoned out.
That's really clever. Okay.
And
Alright.
the tiger puffs up its chest and is like, I volunteered. And when I got out, I was in this strange room filled with beautiful orbs that I really, really wanted to steal and take back for a nest, but I knew I had business. So I hid and waited. And for a couple of days, I saw the wizard that horrible man employed busying about checking things, and began to reason out what runes meant what, and eventually saw that some, written all throughout the facility, were for keeping us in and all you lovely humans out.
Ooh.
So I scratched one of those runes so it didn't work anymore, and slowly but surely the spell began to sputter and fade. That's when I noticed that one really gaudily dressed one, the one that was trying to attract a maid, I assume, by the color of his clothing.
Yes.
He
can
was
only-
also examining the ruins with significantly less skill than I had, if I must say. And
Well,
I just tapped my claws and drew his attention subtly but easily to the rune that I'd already sabotaged and waited. And then one of the humans did my work for me.
It's very clever on your part. An excellent plan that you'd had.
Thank you.
Yes.
The Queen thinks so too. She's very proud of us.
I'm assuming in this situation, out of character, the Queen is the Terratatsworm.
Yeah, and also, like, I should note that this is all translation convention when you're talking to them in Dragonspeak, because some words don't have a clear and easy meaning in Dragonspeak. Dragons don't really have a concept of kings and queens, but they do have a concept of a respected authority figure that people bow to.
Yes.
They translate the great sages of dragon culture as the philosopher kings, but that's really not accurate. They're not viewed as monarchs. They're just, dragons whose thoughts on things are held in high esteem. And in this case, the terror Tatzelworm is held in high esteem by the clever Tatzelworms because she is the apex predator of the area.
Yes. I'm glad to hear she thinks so. You've done a wonderful job.
They smile, very pleased with themselves, but eventually their smiles fade and they're like, it's sad we couldn't have done it before she lost her children.
It is. May I ask a small favor of you? Keep an eye on-
And they cock their head and they're like, you may, but we may not do it.
And I can't make you to do it either. That's why I ask instead of be like, "Hey, do this for me." I'm not that kind of a guy. Lord knows I'm not that kind of guy. Can you keep an eye on her? Make sure she does okay. He says, nodding towards the Terratatsworm.
They look and they look at each other and they nod and they're like, that is a favor we can do.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I appreciate that.
And
She's going to need it.
so when you come by saying excellent, they look at you, Scrut, and they're like, watch out, that one basilisk really wants you dead for some reason.
Oh,
Yeah. No
Something
idea why.
Something about you, like, trying to get it killed?
Never heard of them. I don't know. This is the first time I've seen them today. It's weird.
and Mom gives you the look of like, what the fuck are you on?
Jesus Christ.
Also, speaking of dead, Hammerschmidt is kaput.
And the Tatzelworms all give out a great braying cheer of joy.
We get shit too. One hit, gone. Head popped off like a grape.
The black Tatzelworm with the yellow stripe is like, my only regret is that I didn't do it myself.
One day.
Yeah.
It's not like Scrunt looted a shop and got a super powerful weapon that does max damage.
It's not like he was an enemy to fight. He was just a dude.
Weak as shit.
I mean, he wasn't even a warrior. He was literally just like a well-fed merchant.
Oh yeah, someone's got a stick.
Yes,
He's probably hasn't done like any like physical labor in like decades.
Honestly, skill issue.
Mont Blanc's new witch stick.
Mont Blanc now has a staff with a rock on it.
I've got a rock on it.
But Mont Blanc will turn to the Pterotats worms and smiles like, if you ever need any help, feel free to call out and ask. All creatures are my friends.
Clever Tatzelworms nod and they're like, we probably won't, but thank you for the offer.
Excellent.
Alright. That leaves the Terror Tatzelworm, Clara Saddle, and George left.
Let's go Clear Saddle. Alternate.
Alright. Clara is currently looking through, she's got like at least a dozen scrolls like held in like the crook of her arm, and is currently looking through one very closely.
Hello, Clara.
Hi.
Are you doing
thank-
okay?
Yeah, I'm just I'm sort of looking through the boss's accounts and structure, and I think I may have inherited his business.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Yeah, this is I mean, I guess I've been managing all of this anyway, because he relays almost all things to me anyway, but, like, this is a very large mercantile empire that I'm currently in charge of.
Double congrats.
He didn't have any heirs. I think it's all mine. Well, I mean, first things first, then, we've got to just completely tear down that menagerie and sell all the parts to recoup some losses. Might have to sell this entire estate, actually, because it's really not of use to me, and if I don't do that, they're just going to kick me out anyway to put some other lord in there.
Fair enough.
Probably for the best, you know. Not an environment I'd want to stick around and try to still live in.
To be
Yeah.
honest, I think it might be smart to tell them to salt the earth, because I'm pretty sure that whole scenario that we just went through is going to make some very pissed off ghosts.
Oh yes, that is true.
That is true.
Can't say
I can do some reference work just to double check.
Wait, Charles, I think my class can literally do exorcisms. You might be able to.
Well, you gotta wait till they manifest first. Takes a while for a ghost to realize what the fuck it's doing.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah.
sorry my
congratulations.
boss was such a prick. Thank you for saving me. I'll try to do better in his stead.
Recommendation: do not put dragons in a menagerie.
I really don't want to fuck with any... I probably shouldn't say the word monster.
Creature works.
I don't want to mess with any magical beings. I just want to sell some goods and make money that way.
Much safer.
We do have a friend in town who might be able to assist you, give you some tips.
Oh, who?
Long Lankin?
I'll be in touch with him.
And I do know that the village of Hans End, on the other side of by the river down that south of us, is looking for a merchant.
I'll look into that too. Wait, isn't Imbecile's wares in there?
They've had an unfortunate.
They're having some bad financial times.
Yeah,
Ooh,
honestly,
free real estate.
if you go
We all
to
say wearing his looted store.
honestly, if
Oh,
you go to
but-
Lang's End, you might get a deal on his store.
Yep.
Ugh.
All right, that's our closure. But this is not going to happen again. Thank God.
If you need any help with anything, feel free to reach out to us. We will get to you as soon as we can.
Well, thank you. And thanks again for saving my life. I feel like I'm understating it, but that was really like the biggest. And she gives you the most awkward thumbs up you've ever seen.
Mont Blanc gives a thumbs up with a big old grin and slowly raising Barnaby with the thumbs up.
And we'll do it again. Just don't actually get in a life-threatening situation again.
I'll try not to. I will try to just do merchant business, which I feel like is something my boss could have focused on and spared a lot of lives.
It probably would have ended better for him, yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Big terror worm time?
Big terror worm time.
Hell yeah.
Don't speak, lizard.
Skill
Oh,
issue.
yes.
Well, 3 of you do, and we know that canonically now.
Don't worry. We will translate for you, Edmund.
Edmund didn't say that out loud.
She's as you approach, so many of the other animals are sort of looking to her and waiting for her lead. And she in turn has been watching you all, not with the predatory ferocity that you had seen earlier, but rather with just an active curiosity. And when you approach, she somewhat nervously paws the ground of her big fucking lizard feet. And then growls very quietly in Draconic Bretonche. You saw me at a very bad moment.
It's completely understandable. It's no worries.
I was very hurt, and I let that color my view of the mammals, and that was wrong of me, and I know that was wrong of me, even if it felt very right at the time. And I might have done some very horrible things if you had not stopped me. So thank you for doing so. And showing compassion and control that I lacked.
I understand. You were going through a difficult situation, being unable to grieve, unable to vent or exist without being controlled by the one who caused you all that pain and torment. If anything, that's the most... Oh, go ahead.
Your rage was justified.
Mm-hmm.
But those I was targeting were not. I'm thankful that you showed me there are good mammals, good humans in the world. Even if only 2 of you are. Well,
Yeah.
3 if we count the George.
He deeply regrets his part in what he played.
Turning around, okay.
Huh?
No, Mont Blanc is just taking something in note of only 2 of us are mammals, just very quietly. What?
Well, 2 of you are human.
2 of us are human, yes.
Yeah, Charles was gonna let it slide because it's like I've stopped. I've given up.
To be fair to the Tatzelworm, how the fuck is she supposed to know Edmund's a human being?
No, that's fair.
I mean, Charles and Edmund both were almost recruited into this menagerie for that reason. Yeah.
Recruited is one word. Kidnapped is another.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Scrunt just
Well-
sipping tea like, it's great having a disguise.
Well, the guy approached Charles is like, "Hey, you want to pull off a scam? You get to be in a zoo and get pampered." And then Charles is like, "No, fuck off."
And the Tatzelworm looks to the other creatures and then looks to you and says, "You can tell the humans that I will honor the old pact. Not that they ever knew it would exist in the first place. A code, I suppose, is a better phrase for it.
They will know of it
My
now.
kind will live in the mountains, and I will tend to these creatures there and make sure that they have homes. And the humans are welcome to live here in the valley. They are welcome to come to the mountains and visit, so long as they know that they are in the domain of us, rather than in theirs, and subject to our rules. And we shall allow them to live in their valley, unhindered, as was the way before this man destroyed my family."
We will make sure that is well known by them.
Yes.
Then we shall honor this agreement.
The pact has been sealed.
May there be peace.
Hi-ho.
Hi-ho. It's off to work we go.
I was going hi ho so over, and
Charles
you went.
just
Oh,
wins.
son of a bitch.
Let's see. Okay, how do I want to word this? So I'm trying to figure out how Mont Blanc would say this. Say something.
No, she will not have sex with you.
Not that. No. Whoa. Excuse me.
Was barred.
This Terror Tatzelworm is far out of Mont Blanc's league. He
Damn
wouldn't
straight
even
she is.
try. It's like watching.
You're holding up for Nelly long arms anyway. We all know. We all know.
I am slandered, but no, it's wrong kind of vibe. Mont
Yeah,
Blanc
that's
will
the
be
vibe
like
Scrunt's skipping.
fucking hell. Mont Blanc will say, I'm trying to put this in a way that isn't Gray's going to fuck it up because I do emotional connections bad. I am struggling a little bit. I think Mont Blanc would almost, I don't want to say add a whisper, but would be more quiet about this than he was in just the casual conversation they were having and be like, and it may not be much, but may the ache of loss ease on you as it has me.
She looks at you, and it's a reptile's face. It's this big, boxy, lizard, dinosaurish, dragonish skull. But you do get a sense of like reciprocation and appreciation for those words. And she nods. She doesn't verbally answer, but she nods in assent.
Cool.
Yeah. Any more questions for the big bad of this arc?
So what did it taste like?
Hmm?
The ravening
Charles-
beast.
Oh, I thought you were asking her about the prince. Okay.
No, I know that's between pork and lobster.
Your faces are making a lot of interesting movements. What are you asking her right now?
She thinks for a moment. She's like, "Have you ever eaten something with mange?"
Yes.
Charles
Tasted
is
like that.
"Ugh."
Tasted disease, the sort of thing you eat when you're really desperate, but not something you seek out if you have other options.
Yeah, Brett, Edmund, you see Charles just like do that visceral like grunt, like just like ugh, and it goes. They're talking about mouthfeel and flavor profiles. Don't ask.
So how bony was it? It had a bunch of teeth. It also just have bone in there, no real
The snack
meat.
that bites back.
There was a lot of bone, and the sinew
wasn't
was
in
very
character.
very tough, gamey.
Bright Eyes leans over to Edmund and goes, I'm worried about which one they're talking about. The prince or the beast?
Oh yeah, how'd the prince taste, by the way?
Oh, there we go.
Sometimes I feel like Mont Blanc was the one cursed to not be a human.
The Tatsuworm doesn't have arms with which to shrug, but she gives like a non-committal head bob and is like, you taste one human, you taste them all.
Yeah, that's fair. They don't really leave a good
It's like less
aftertaste.
good pig.
Mhm.
Like,
Sort
and like,
of spoiled.
and like Mont Blanc, it's Mont Blanc's turn to make a face at Scrun and be like, and then in common English is like, how do you know what human tastes like?
Oh,
I'm a
there we go.
dragon.
Scrunt is just gonna keep talking to the terror tat's worm.
While they're discussing the taste and mouthfeel of humans, Bright Eyes, you want to slip away for a second?
Yeah, I would. I'm going to leave this conversation because now I know what they're talking about. It's like, yep, I don't need to know anymore.
Yep.
Oh, Longshanks knew what we were talking about.
Yeah,
what
he
they were
did.
talking about.
He can't share with
Well-
me, and he probably wouldn't even if he could.
Yeah. Thankfully, pucks don't eat people because they're too small.
That doesn't mean they don't bite.
That's true.
Like
I
actual
mean,
cats.
Even my cats bite, so yeah, that's true.
Well, she's gonna walk over to George again and go, before you leave, George,
Yes.
and she reaches up and takes her hat off, so her hair is evident. She goes, my full name is Elfhide Auberg. And I imagine he would know my family name.
And he frowns. He's like, I had learned as much when I described you to Hammerschmidt. He said that you were a missing nobleman's daughter, and that there is a bounty for your return being offered by your parents. That's why he was very insistent that all of you come, including you.
I figured as much when he said my name. And she's going to reach into her, backpack and pull out, a signet ring or something that she has, and she's going to give it to him. She's going to open his hand and put it in and close it around it. And you're asking...
Okay.
When you're asking for nobleman's help, please show this to my father and tell him that I am fine. I am not missing. I am not hurt. I went to discuss my betrothal, and the man tried to kill me.
Cobalt von Hubert, correct?
Yes.
Never did like him.
Believe
I
me,
will I will relay that information.
Let them know that I am alright. They don't need to send bounty hunters after me. I will not return now that I have this task before me. I will return to them once it is over.
He nods, and then he takes a second to consider whether he should ask what he wants to ask, and decides to risk, and he says, "Is it true that you left because you did not want this engagement in the first place?"
Yes.
And he smiles at you and says, "What a brave thing, as a nobleman, to fight for love, for true love, rather than your duty. I think you show a quality of character that many in your position lack."
It's not like I didn't have help. And she reaches back and pats Longshanks. Wouldn't have gotten very far without this friend.
It's a very good puck you have.
And she's going to put her hat back on and look up at George and go, "Just say no, George. My friends call me Bright Eyes, and so can you." And then she winks and leaves.
And he smiles and he takes that to heart. Wow, that was sweet.
There. Now I can take back that fucking... when I told him my name because he couldn't have my epithet. Because that made me feel real bad.
He was right, though. He got you in the end.
Yeah, you fucker. I'm gonna eat cookies about it.
All right. Well, if we have no more business here, let's see what's else on my list. Do you guys want to stop at Long Lankins before you leave town?
Yes, please. I wish to see my
Yeah,
friend.
we have an order. Multiple orders, right?
Yeah.
You do?
Hopefully it
I don't remember what we ordered.
So to be fair, he meant I wish to craft with the dragon materials, and us who had stolen the dragon materials went, alright, bet.
Whatever
Yeah, you
want.
gave him basically everything that he could craft, basically all the things that are not things that you are supposed to craft in interludes yourself. He did all the stuff that had to be processed by a skilled, magician. So like the various dragon blood potions that you can make with the dragon materials, that's on you to craft when you feel like it, and when you have an interlude scene to do so. But making stuff out of dragon hide, dragon bone, the dragon heart, the dragon eye, the dragon liver, and the dragon wings, that was all stuff that you needed someone else to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you get back to Long Lankin's shop, and when you enter, he looks at you all, and he throws his impossibly long arms wide and says, "My friends, you have come at an auspicious moment. I have just finished your beautiful items. Come
Lincoln,
see.
my old friend, how are you?
I am doing well. It feels like it has been weeks when it has only been at most a day."
It has been one hell of a day, though. Let me tell you what.
I bet it has. I've been doing a lot of work in my shop, and it feels... And boy, are my arms tired.
That is fair.
Alright, first, you'll give me many good dragon bones. I have crushed these into a powder mixed with various ingredients, similar to what is used to make gargoyle. And I give to you... And he reveals 5 sets of plate armor. The texture is similar to polished stone or like really, really smooth concrete, but it's substantially lighter. It's lighter than even metal would be. And there's like little spots in the breastplate and the helmet that you can put up to 4 gems. He says, "This is dragon bone plate armor. Very good. We'll need experience with plate armor to wear effectively."
Martial armor.
Yep. I'm putting the stats in the loot board. You also give me dragon hide, and he reveals this leather armor, these tunics. 5 of those, basically the same stats, but they're non-martial armor. Like these beautiful dragon skin tunics. And the big thing about dragons is dragons are attuned to all elements of magic, which makes them resistant to attacks using elements of magic. Which means that if you're wearing this shit, not only does it have really good defensive stats, but also you are resistant to all elements except dark and light.
Well, this is so good since we have to go after those elemental masters eventually.
Yeah, it's almost like I was preparing you for some shit. And because they have these gemstone slots, you can add extra elemental attunement if you so desire.
Oh, these are absolutely lovely long ones.
There's 4 element things per piece. Now, to the items of which I could only make 1 apiece. He has a potion made from a dragon's heart that will permanently increase willpower by 1 dice size. So if your dice size for willpower is 6, it goes to 8. The highest you can get is a D12. There's only 1 potion though, so only 1 of you can take it.
That would be really easy.
And there's a dragon eye potion, which does the same for insight. There is a dragon liver stew that does the same for might. And there are 2 bowls of dragon wing stew, which do the same for dex. So technically, 2 of you can improve your dex if you would like.
Hey, Edmund, I think you should take the liver stew.
Finally, while working with all of these materials, I take the offal, the unused portions, and I create this. The worm tongue ointment, which gives one the ability to speak to serpents, beasts, birds, vermin, and fish, i.e. all monsters. And there are enough doses for all of you to rub yourself down with this if you so desire. And it's a permanent ability to speak of creatures that otherwise you would not be able to speak with.
So we
Drawn straight from mythology, so you can't claim I'm pulling this out of my ass to satisfy you. That is a literal thing you can make out of dragon shit. I mean, not dragon feces, but like dragon parts.
Question: the armors, are those just like given to us, or do we need to buy them?
He's giving them all to you. You brought on the materials.
Ooh, okay. I was looking at the price and was like, oh man, it's going to be a long time before we can get that.
Well, here's the thing. Not all of you can wear each of the armors, so you can also sell the extras.
That's true. That's very true.
You know, we should give one of the one of the armor sets to Leone.
When we run into Leone, we will make sure she gets a set.
But oh no, then I would have to draw her in some new duds.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Tragic.
Suffer.
Another picture for my spare Leone's folder.
Suffer.
You know, I meant to say, Charles. I meant to have Charles say we should introduce Leone to Sadler.
Yeah, that's something to do down the line. Next time you run into her, I suppose.
Yeah. But this is wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yes, you bring me great materials. It's great joy to work with such wonderful treasures.
You might be the greatest craftsman I've ever seen.
Oh, Pshaw.
These are artisanal works, my friend. excellent work.
I do my best to get by.
Yes.
It's rare I deal with such beautiful materials.
Yes. Now, in return for your favor, I will help you with your problem. I know you are looking for good husbands and wives for your sisters.
I would like to find good spouses to take care of my beautiful sisters.
Yes. I will help you find spouses, for you are a good friend.
Hey,
He grabs your hand, he pulls you close. We are like brothers, but not by marriage because you are witch.
He's like, yes, but we
hey,
are like brothers.
there is a suddenly rich young lady who is coming to do a business deal with you later. She might be interested.
Yes, that is. Charles just goes, that is exactly why I sent her here.
Oh, I shall call my sisters and we shall get our finest clothes. Thank you, friends.
She is now the head of the Hammerschmidt estate due to he ran afoul of a dragon.
That large, gaudy mansion with the walls.
Of
Yes.
his businesses, they're going to sell the mansion and probably move to Lane Child.
She has
Can
better
I-
taste than that.
Can I get the dragon sculptures? They would look good next to shop.
She would probably
she-
agree to sell those to you.
Excellent. Thank you, good friends. You are welcome any time at Long Langdon's Curiosities.
When we have appropriate materials, we will definitely bring stuff worthy of your crafts.
And he smiles and gives you all a deep bow. You've made his day twice at this point. Yay!
Hey.
We have befriended the long way.
We are
Oh my God.
forcibly creating the Long Lincoln Sisters of Mary quest.
DZ has a good point. I don't want to deal with any more magical creatures. I just want to be an honest merchant. Well, I'm like an hey.
So should we figure out the items we got?
Yeah, those are a lot of good shit there.
Yep.
I'm definitely taking the plate armor since I can do martial armor.
I
Yeah.
would need
So
to
does
take
the
a
plate
tunic.
armor go on our existing armor, or
You have to wear it in place of your existing armor.
so? What's the defense and magic defense value of it?
So the defense of the Dragonbone Plate is whatever your might die is, like its max, +6.
Oh,
Its magic
okay.
defense is whatever your willpower dice is, +6. It gives resistance to all elements of magic except dark and light, so if something hits you with a fire attack or whatever, you take half whatever the total damage is. And it counts as martial armor in regards to everything that, notices martial armor. All abilities and whatnot. And the Dragonhide tunic is the same, except it's not a martial armor, so if you can't wear martial armor, you can wear Dragonhide tunics. And they're both worth the same money-wise, so you can also sell them if you want to use something else, but still want to get some value out of these fuckers.
Do they have an armor initiative?
It has no initiative penalty, because this is like...
Ooh.
Yeah, like it's like when you wear the plate armor, it is lighter than normal plate armor.
Okay.
Because it's not made out of it's made out of bone powder essentially. Hardened, supernaturally durable bone powder, but bone powder, so it's all very light.
Dang, this is a big buff.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I definitely think Edmund should take the strength or the might, the liver stew.
Yeah.
Being our Dark Knight.
Yeah, that makes most sense.
Oh, and I was wrong. I was wrong about the other difference between the two is that the tunics rely on dex rather than might for their normal defense. So they're better if you're a dexterity based person.
but I understand if someone else wants to take it for like spellcasting, but I wouldn't mind taking the willpower, the Dragonheart potion. But I understand if someone else wants to take that.
I'm fine with that. I'm looking at the Dex potions. One of them.
Since both my spellcasting classes rely on willpower, and that would boost it up to a D8.
I think it would be very funny if you're going to take the willpower one. I'll take the insight one and turn that to a D12 and see what shenanigans I can get into.
Ooh, yeah, do that.
Yeah, my might's gonna go to a D12 too.
Oh yeah, I'll take.
No
the
objections for me
heart
taking the
potion.
might.
I feel the might makes so much sense for Edmund. You are the muscle of the group.
Then Scrunt. Would that mean Scrunt gets the Dex also?
That also makes sense to me if Shady has no objections.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. I'm mainly just trying to figure out right now if the Dragonbone plate will be better than my actual or my current armor.
Can you wear martial armor?
I mean, I'm like, my scales are bronze plate armor.
Oh yeah, that's what Charles started out with.
Yeah, I will say that was like a pretty massive buff, especially to magic defense.
It took away my +4 to initiative, but fuck it.
My might and willpower are now D10s.
Yeah, I didn't try to make it like objectively the best armor, but I did want to make it like worthy of being made from dragon stuff.
Yeah.
Like there are some trade-offs. Like I think there are some other armors you've encountered that have like a higher like defense or magic defense, but not both. But like I wanted to be like where you're like, okay, this is some good shit. It may not work the best of my build, but it is something that is just all around like really good stats.
Quick question.
Yes.
How do you input like the might plus the number in for your
On your character tab, all the way at the bottom, where
Mhm.
it shows attributes, you can change the drop down to the dice size that you need.
Like you can just figure out what the max for your dice is, and then add 6, and then just make it that.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. I'll ask it again once we're out of session because this might take some
Yeah.
This might need some explanation.
I thought my HP is at now with that might buff.
I bet pretty good,
81.
which is good. You know, you guys are gonna fight a really nasty. You've got some nasty fights coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's giving this to us for a
All right.
reason.
Ooh, my MP is now up to 71 with that.
Wow.
My HP is 78.
Nice.
Now that I figured out that I have an extra 6 HP I hadn't been counting.
Inman Charles, super tank formation, go!
Yeah. He's so tanky now. Ace defense and magic defense both are. Oh, geez. Defense is 22. Magic defense is 28?
But surely
Okay,
we are
man.
getting you to the point where you won't be terrified to fight the ravening beast, or at least not completely terrified. You'll be less terrified to fight the ravening beast.
Yes.
I was doing well with 18 and 14, but 22 and 28, jeez.
I mean, I'm playing a Guardian, and I can only get tankier if I went with the dual shield. But I need my whacking stick to cast spells.
As it goes.
John's gonna take a bit of that worm tongue ointment and just kind of look at Longshanks over his shoulder and go, now I'll know what you've been muttering over my shoulder all this time.
It's been mostly nice things, at least from what I've heard.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yes. You'll hear me clearly now.
That means the DM gets to talk for my familiar.
I get to talk for a little cat dragon.
Little
And
son of a bitch.
Hey,
and a little snake in a barrel of dirt.
Yep.
Cheers.
So, the one thing they don't tell you about these, if a bush can talk, you can now talk to a bush. It is not a fun time if you're not prepared.
Hey, fuck
Wait.
you, says a nearby bush.
And then Charles is just like, that may make being a farmer more difficult. Now that's, oh no.
You're
Well,
saying
I mean,
good thing I
to,
don't-
to be fair, the ointment specifies animals.
Okay,
Yeah,
then you get
and
the
Charles
beasts
is just
and
like, it's
monsters.
a good thing I don't farm livestock.
Oh, yeah, mine's magic, I forget. You guys don't talk to plants like I talk to plants. You're fine.
bushes can talk.
Ooh, look at Mr. Big Spender over here.
I'm sure some bushes have some very interesting stories, Mont Blanc.
Next, you're gonna tell me they're gonna try to run for elections of places. Who would vote for what?
Mont Blanc
damn
just
it.
looks over at the
Not if Long Lincoln can stop it.
See?
Long Lincoln,
Oh,
oh.
God.
Long Lincoln, yes.
Take that fucker
I
out
will
of
shoot
these.
them in their beds.
I think that's everything I wanted to do in town, unless we wanted to go to the inn for some reason.
Yeah, no, this is pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Are we going for Mont Blanc drawing all the things? Is that all like basically going to be relegated to off screen or run?
Yeah,
through
that's
it,
gonna be.
or-
But listen, there's 25 motherfuckers.
So,
I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that one session.
No. What I made
That's
in
fair.
character as we were going through the menagerie is Mont Blanc was drawing them as he was seeing them. He would use this time to get more information and maybe ask a couple of stories while we're talking to some of the other people. I'm going to flavor this for the next level up of, hey, Will, pass me a spell list.
Yeah. Remind me of that tomorrow when I have time to figure that out. And yes, I will. I mean, there's definitely one that you would have known. You would have known the fire breath attack by the pterodactyl worm,
Yes.
because she did
maybe
she did roast you guys at one point.
Mm-hmm. And tail slapped us.
I was thinking the fire breath probably from the Tatzelworm. We did have all the basilisks. I don't know if there's a 1-to-1 translation in the spell lists that exist, but we can find out.
Maybe an earthquake from the Catoblopus.
And an earthquake from the Catoblopus.
Here's a lovely comment from Maple Samurai. I'm gonna let you read it.
I know she's probably shipping George with Mont Blanc dry eyes, but this time I can't.
Wait, what? Okay, I don't want to shoot it down, but the man's like 90.
Hey,
So,
he's a silver
He's-
fox.
he's a wet meow meow man.
Silver Drake.
He's a wet meow meow man. They don't go out of fashion.
Bright Eyes would have to wait a bit. He lost his wife recently.
She just wants to be his friend, really. She just wants to be friends.
Yep. I kind of get an Ace vibe from Bright Eyes.
That's
Yeah.
because she is.
I miss my wife, George.
George is like, I miss my wife, Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc's just like, I miss my family, I understand.
Bright Eyes could be
And
the
then-
ace friend over there going, now kiss for George and Montblanc.
I miss wife, guys. I miss her a lot. I'll be back.
Already cheating on your wife Nellie with George.
I haven't met Nellie yet.
Is it a
Shame
polycule or a
on
coven?
Ron.
You promised that out of character, motherfucker.
I did. This isn't
Is
just
it a coven or a polycule?
terminology. No, Mont Blanc would probably not romance George unless if George started first, I guess. I said I'm going after Nellie first because that'll be funny.
Fans should be able to ship whatever they want, but I will say this: that like George is very much ride or die for his wife. He has no other love in his life than her, and she is gone.
Exactly.
Then
But you know,
then there's Charles over here getting weird vibes from the Sphinx. He's not against it. That's the thing. He's just like, I'm learning things.
she is always gonna be an enigma for you.
Oh my god.
Okay.
You-
All right.
You should ask her out next time you see her.
Fucking creep.
That's in character.
Okay. Let's there's a couple more things on my sheet. I want to get to some of them before we go. Do you guys want to like stop by Grimhelm and pick up that stuff from the weird hunters club that you have?
Oh yeah, we did
Sure.
that. Sure.
Yes.
After we ruined a man's
It's been a while, so I don't remember exactly what I requested.
You requested one order of wind materials, and they give you some ruck feathers,
Okay.
which counts as one order of wind materials. It can be used to enchant one armor or weapon to be wind aligned, much as phoenix feathers could do the same for was it Phoenix Ash? It was one of the two.
Oh, now
It
we
all
can
began with P.
now we can speak to the chick.
You got a lot of things to voice now.
Yeah. I mean, granted, the
Phoenix-
chick is a fucking infant, so it's still gonna just be it going. It's making indeterminate gurgles.
Little baby noises.
Mhm.
Little baby
The screams.
Small lad. Tiny
Screaming.
child.
It's not a pigeon, but I'm gonna make it make pigeon noises because I don't know how to make that a horrifying the horrifying peacock shriek.
Ah!
All right, that takes care of Grimhelm. I'm not gonna make you roll or do a travel thing. We're just gonna get that taken care of, fast travel style. I mean, you have the Kelpie, so you're allowed.
And also, it just
Also,
got
I
its
have
ass
the
kicked.
new Tower of the Gate, or the Arcanum of the Gate, which I can rewind us back to any location we've been in the last 24 hours.
If you would like an interlude scene, you may have one now. To forge bonds, reshuffle bonds, strengthen bonds, etc. Make potions, do any long-term projects you might be working on and haven't told me about yet, etc. All the things you can use the interlude scene for. Once that's done, or if we don't give a shit and want to skip it, we shall introduce Langchild. I'll tell you all the shops. We can do some shopping, and that'll probably be the end of the session.
Okay.
The only
I'm cool
thing
with
I
the
want to do
latter.
with bonds at the moment is switch it so I have George as a bond of admiration.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
My cookie
Terrible.
went down the wrong pipe. Betrayed.
I would like to switch a bond. I would like to say Mont Blanc no longer mistrusts Scrunt and is loyal to Scrunt.
Because you fought side by side.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yes.
And talked about the taste of human flesh together.
Oh god.
And we talked about eating humans, something I've only unfortunately read about.
Charles is also going to switch George's bond from mistrust to loyalty.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons I love this system. You get to do mechanic incentives with stuff that happens in game.
Oh, or can I only do one bond, or because there's one other?
You
bond
can
would definitely-
switching bonds is free. You can add one bond or strengthen a bond, and you only get to do one of those.
Okay, yeah, he switched the bond from George from mistrust to loyalty, and he's adding affection to the Sphinx bond.
Aw.
So now it's a level 2 with loyalty and affection.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna switch Charles. I have as inferiority. I'm gonna switch that to admiration, and I'm gonna add loyalty for Sword George Garston. Get speech about being a knight.
And I'm going to move Sir George from hatred to mistrust.
Aw. You don't hate him anymore, but you're still wary of him because he is still a fucking dragon slayer.
Bingo.
Okay. If that's how we do it, I'm going to add. I'm trying to get 2 for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and I only have 2. I don't, so I'm going to go for Charles for loyalty, because I saw him stick through with that stuff, and I'm rooting for him because he's got a Sphinx girlfriend now, and good for him.
Just officially
deserves to
shipping
be
those
happy.
two.
People making some assumptions, but
Mont Blanc's allowed to make assumptions. He's never going to ask about it. He's too nice.
I'm a witch. You can't stop me from making an ass out of you and me. Wait.
I mean, that fits with the witch stories that Charles knows.
It's like, this is just par for the course.
Alright.
Okay.
I mean,
Anyone
we
else?
did know the broken-hearted witch was turning people into asses, so
Yeah? Literal, jackasses, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I switched George's from mistrust to affection, admiration.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna add affection to Mont Blanc to go with my loyalty.
Aww.
Let's-
I love this game.
Let's see.
So I'd say in the Carrier Dread, Mont Blanc's just showing everybody the pictures he drew of the various critters.
I am having just the longest, most complicated talk with Longshanks.
I think most of the talk really just sort of cements things that you already knew or at least suspected. Like pet owners, it's a really strange relationship because you can never really fully confirm all the things you're feeling, and yet at the same time, it's so hard not to feel the love that radiates from these animals. And you are the person who owns a cat who actually gets to hear that cat say, "Yeah, no, I love you. You take care of me. You keep you make sure I'm warm and give me food, and you give me pets when I feel down or just for the fun of it. Of course I love you. You're my friend, and I'm glad to spend time with you." You get that reinforcement. The Longshanks, turns out, is mischievous as all cats are, but also completely open in his affection. The way that cats are with people that they trust. Even though he's not actually a cat, he's a mutated magical monitor lizard.
He's just a little guy. I love my little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Your little meow meow.
He is. Literally.
And I'm gonna make Longshanks the third character that I've thought of a voice actor for. Ideally, Longshanks will be voiced by Keith David a la Coraline.
Oh.
and have that same slightly playful lilt to his voice, but also it's very deep.
My cat's badass.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Bright Eyes hears the cat talk for the first time. It's like, holy shit! I did not expect you to sound like that.
I come and go where I please. It's one of my favorite. I mean, any Keith David voice acting like performance is one of my favorites. But like, God, his performance as the cat in Coraline is so fucking good. Like, it's part of it's the writing, but also like the acting of it is just like so fucking perfect. That is just what a cat would sound like. Yeah, okay, so if we are done with our interlude, you guys make it to the beautiful coastal town of Summerlee. Oh, thank God, I was worried for a minute that the file was corrupted. Okay.
Langchild?
Oh, sorry. It's two different towns today. You get to the beautiful coastal town of Langchild. You arrive by this road in, the southeast corner, right? It's directions. You arrive by this road, you enter, there's like, as there often are in these main roads, there are a bunch of little, vendors and shops, roadside shops on this road leading into town. You see a housing district. There are bridges crossing, like, the stream that you realize it flowed into Grimhelm. There's a preposterously tall and crooked tower of red brick. There are 2 windmills in town. A bunch of ships that you can see even from here over at the docks, as well as another place that has a big sign that says ship rentals here. As you come in, you see the 7-in-1 tavern, which looks like 7 small taverns that just sort of grew into each other.
Ooh, that's delightful.
Like, initially they were 7 very small taverns, and then they just kept building extensions until eventually they were all one building somehow.
I want you to know that I've seen that exact fucking building.
They're so much fun.
I'm fairly certain. I for the theming of this town, I was like, oh, this actually makes a lot of sense to be here. There's a rare imports curio shop, a rare gems shop, a museum called the Sky Oak Museum, which has a huge fucking tree growing out of the center of it. There is a fairly large library, a carpenter. And as you continue to explore town, you see that the section that would be the town square, where like the magistrate's office and thing was, is a giant pile of wreckage and rubble.
I see that. I also see beans, and
That's
nothing
not
but
great.
beans.
Nothing
Oh
but
yeah,
beans.
there's a shop called Beans, and Nothing But Beans, and also the Green Fun Herbalist. I didn't see them because your names are over it, but yeah.
Beans.
Beans.
Well, that throws a wrench in our plans.
That is
A
unfortunate.
smidge. I guess
So
you
what
could say, beans.
You want to go to the bean shop, don't you, Scrunt?
Unsure.
Let's go find out what's in the bean shop then. Don't worry, buddy. I'll go
Point
Oh.
for
the
you.
shower. I think a wizard's in there.
Quite possibly. Are we going to Beans, and Nothing But Beans first?
I mean,
It sounds like we are, because that's so stupid. It's alright, it'll be
Look,
brief.
We will take
Bean,
10
that's
minutes,
up, Scotty.
and then we will go ask somebody, probably at the
God.
library,
Or at the
because that's the
Okay,
largest
really?
building.
Town square.
Something has
Beam
happened
me
here.
up, Scotty.
Okay, so you go to the shop with the big sign that says Beans, and Nothing But Beans, and you go inside and you see this woman, at the very least in her late 60s, if not much older. This wizened old crone with like penny slot eyes and a big wrinkly mouth that has like one tooth left in it, looks at you all, and her wiry gray hair is like hanging out under her bonnet, and she goes, welcome, come on in.
Are you here for some of my magic beans?
I was intrigued by the title of your shop. Tell me more about these magic beans.
Magical, these beans. Oh, if you plant them, all sorts of things will happen.
Like a beanstalk into the clouds?
Oh, just spoil all my fun, why don't you little shit? But yes, that's basically what it does. It makes a giant beanstalk that goes right to the fucking clouds.
How quick does it grow?
You know, like overnight. It's real quick. If you water it, it grows even faster.
Hmm.
You ever seen that Mickey Mouse cartoon? That shit'll shoot up right under your feet.
What?
What's a
Oh.
cartoon?
Perhaps you know him better as Horny Jeff the Fuck Rat?
Oh my god.
Oh!
I might be. I don't know. I'm not sure what's in this fermented water, to be sure.
I can tell you. Beans.
It's only 100 zenit per bean. That's quite an easy price. I also take cows.
I don't have a
Takes
cow.
step back.
I don't have cow, but here's 1,000 zenit.
Holy shit! Here you go. And you have 10 magic beans.
I just imagine her eyeing Charles up and down while she's sipping on her water.
That's why he took a step back.
It's like, oh, that got uncomfortable real quick.
And what did you, and good ma'am, what did you say your name was again?
And then she throws a bean down and there's a huge puff of smoke and she's gone.
Mm.
But in her place, there's a sign on the desk that says no refunds.
I just he leans over the desk. I just wanted to know your name, but okay. I'm keeping the beans.
Alright, you got 10 magic beans.
Wiggins.
Think of the things we can do with those magic beans.
Like make a stew that will taste divine.
They'll
If
actually
you
taste
throw it
bad.
in the mouth of a sea monster, will a vine sprout out from its mouth?
That was my question too. Imagine we throw it into Naelis's mouth and then bam, bean grows out of it.
Oh Jesus, it'll be like fucking,
down Naelis's mouth.
it'll be
Yeah.
like fucking Page Master.
Well,
You're gonna Page Master a human being,
Are
okay?
you gonna carry that one fucking bean for the rest of the goddamn campaign? Just
I have-
he bought 10.
I have 10.
He bought 10.
I know, but we might use the rest of them for something. Just
Gonna
have
keep one.
keep
Just
and
to
like, he
Page Master the bad guy.
He locks eyes with you, bright eyes, and just there's a very serious look, more serious than you said, and he goes, "You've ever seen?" He goes, "Maybe."
That or the ravening beast.
Oh well, yeah, no, he's gonna be the test. He's a test subject.
Jesus Christ.
You'll worry me
Wonderful.
sometime.
Alright.
wait,
And we
Oh,
still need
God.
to talk with Greek ants about my condition, so you know,
wait,
here's my ideas.
wait.
Well, I'm just saying, if there's anybody who deserves to have a beanstalk grow out of them, it's the ravening beast.
But wait, what if their powers combine?
Oh god, the ravening bean.
Attack of the Killer Wolf Beans.
Ugh,
Oh no.
vegetable wolves. I'm good.
TT, even worse. The ravening beast turns into Bean, your cat.
That'd be wonderful. I love my cat.
Yeah, but now Bean's giant. Imagine the havoc of a giant bean.
That's fine. I'll just replace some Republicans. It'll be good. Okay, so where else do we want to go?
But he wouldn't fit
Okay.
in his basket.
Oh no.
The world will be his bathtub. Or his sink. Alright. Or his basket, yeah.
Well, do you want to figure out what the heck happened to the town square?
Yeah.
I think some beans exploded.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
Let's not guess. Let's ask some people.
Yes.
There's a
There's various
library.
places you could stop to meet people.
Like, say, a 7-in-1 tavern.
Yep. Or literally, like, I mean, there's like a whole bunch of shops by you. Like, these people live here. You assume that, like, most of them should be able to know.
I mean, to be fair, the one person we've talked to is out of their mind. I'm not sure that's a great banner.
They also just kind of flash-stepped away, so... I'm gonna go
Because
in
she
the
didn't
library.
want you to regret buying those magic beans. For some reason, a lot of people buy magic beans and then immediately decide they want a refund.
Well, the
I
library's
don't know.
right here. Maybe we can ask them what the hell's going on.
All
And
right.
they may have information as well on the other quests we have.
All right. You enter the Langchild.
library.
You enter the Langchild Library,
Entering
and
the
it's,
library.
I think it's the biggest library you've seen. I don't think we have actually seen that many libraries, actually, now that I think about it. But it's a very impressive library, especially for a vaguely medieval fantasy land. There are a few librarians, some people milling about. And there is a very bookish old geezer running the counter. Oh, hello. Are you here to open up a library account?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. We have a very simple thing. One person can rent one book at a time.
How long is the wait list?
You know, just let people keep the books until they're done with them. So, would you like to know what books we have available?
Yes, please.
We have Sir Brendan's Guide to Sailing, Like Humans But Ugly, A Guide to Ogres, Beasts of the Edge of the Map, The Mysteries of Ridgetooth Bay, with Cat-Like Tread, The Mountain's Maw, and frequently updated by one of my young helpers, The Guide to Eligible Bachelors of Angelsex. I'm gonna post these in the loot box.
You need to get that for Lincoln.
Library collection. So I'm gonna post these in the loot box, and then I'm gonna read out what they do for you. So, Sir Brendan's Guide to Sailing gives +5 to any checks made to sail a boat. Like Humans But Ugly, A Guide to Ogres give +5 to non-combat related checks about ogres. Beasts on the Edge of the Map does the same for sea creatures. Don't know why it says ogres twice. The Mysteries of Ridgetooth Bay guaranteed safe river travel to the Rock Temple, to Sconius Den, Behemoth Burrow, and the huts of Peg Prowler and Nelly Longarms. This basically means that you know, if you have this, you know for sure the way to get there. 3 pages have been torn out. With Cat-Like Tread, gives a +5 to checks made to scale vertical terrain. Mountain's Maw guaranteed safe passage to the Dragon's Lair. And Eligible Bachelors of Angelsex details various eligible bachelors of Angelsex, one in each town the players have visited, oddly enough. It's super current, with Baron von Hubert's entry recently crossed out on account of his untimely death.
You hate to see it.
I love to see it. Fuck that guy.
So
definitely
one
wanna
person
get a
can
couple
check out one book at a time.
Okay.
Definitely should get the Mysteries to Ridgetooth Bay so we can get those on the map,
Yes.
as well as the Mountain's Maw.
Edmund's gonna check out Mysteries of Ridgetooth Bay.
Excellent.
Just because I think I might need it, I'm going to check out With Cat-Like Tread.
You know, if you didn't, someone didn't think that, I was thinking that because it's like, that'd be funny. Charles suddenly can climb like a goat.
Seeing that Edmund is checking out the Mysteries of Ridgetooth Bay, he'll sigh and check out Eligible Bachelors of Angelsex.
Has everyone got a book?
That checks.
Charles will take Mountain's Maw just so he can get the Dragon's Lair.
And Scrunt will take the Guide to Sailing.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Yeah, Scrunt has history as a sailor.
Yes.
That makes absolute sense.
Oh, thank you all very kindly. Make sure to bring them back in good condition, because if you don't, I will hunt you down to the ends of your days and carve out a pound of flesh in return.
On such a
Wow,
lovely
that's
note,
quite a return
um,
policy.
I have 2 questions for you, good sir.
Oh,
Um,
of course.
One, my companions and I have just arrived here in town.
Oh,
so-
welcome. I hope you have a good time in Langchild. Sorry that, a lot of our most cool stuff has been recently flattened.
May I ask what flattened it?
Oh,
What
it was
happened?
ogres. Bunch of horrible swamp ogres came in and just tore the whole place up. They were trying to get the magistrate, and they did. They smashed up his house. I saw one of them bite his head off. It was very gruesome.
Do you know why they were after the magistrate?
Oh, who knows why ogres do what they do? There's a book that we've got on that, in fact.
Okay. Well, after I finished with this title for a friend who's looking to get his sisters in good marriages,
I see. Are they attractive? He says as he slicks back his balding hair.
I
He is
believe
not
so.
in the book.
I believe so. He says gently, like patting his shoulder. So I appreciate that. What was my other question? Oh, would you like a donation?
I'm always good to have more books in the library.
Excellent. I have 2 copies of this one book that I've acquired across my travels, and I think it would do very lovely in your collection.
Oh, what book is it?
I am looking to see where I put it in my notes. I believe we have I purchased in one town and then picked up from the lady 2 copies, I believe, of the Goetic Maleficarium.
Oh, hell no! Get that out of my shop! Oh, I don't want no books of demons in my nice library. No.
Fair enough.
You take that elsewhere. I don't want that. It'll make all the other books start smoking. And then they'll play pool and they won't listen to their elders. It's a bad influence, that book. It's a bad influence.
God damn it.
I will take your word for it.
And this is why you're not on the eligible bachelor's list.
Oh, I suppose.
Oh my god.
I don't know that. I just checked out the book. I haven't looked
That's
at
fair.
that.
I just thought it was because of my advanced age and senility.
You are not a Sir George Garston.
Don't
Oh,
worry, old man. Love can come at any age.
that's true.
There's
I
a-
read about it in a book. Hey.
There is a lovely lady that runs the shop just down to the south of you at the Beans, Nothing But Beans.
Oh, I don't trust her. She's a
Ooh.
I couldn't even say it.
You censored yourself real quick.
I couldn't even say it. Let's leave this horrible old man.
Okay.
Wiggins.
It's like somebody cut your voice out with a scissors.
Oh. Okay. So we got other places to go to.
I'm sorry. I'm still...
We've done Beans and Beans, and we've done the library.
Do we want to check out the Green Thumb Herbalist or the Sky Oak Museum?
I kind of do want to check out the herbalist.
They are
I
right.
feel
Let's
like
go
we should
check out-
visit the museum.
We can do them both.
Yes.
Right. You go to the herbalist, and you see this very not just witchy, but like pagan, like Wicca witchy, like New Age witchy, leg-looking woman in very diaphanous silks, and little jangling metal beads. Goes, "Oh, welcome to my herbalist shop. Would you perhaps be interested in my and she waves her hands, and like suddenly like a bottle appears in her fingertips. Tincture of tenacity, or the lotion of flexibility, the balm of courage, or the oil of awareness. And what these do, they are somewhat similar to the dragon power-ups you just got, except they're temporary. The Tincture of Tenacity will increase a might dice size by 1 for 3 turns. So like 3 rounds, basically. And it costs 50 zenit. There's one that does, the Lotion of Flexibility does that for Dex, the Balm of Courage does it for Willpower, and the Oil of Awareness does it for Insight.
Oh, lady.
It would take an action. Sorry, what?
Oh, he said, I don't know, lady. You're not making me sound like they're for combat.
I mean, they're just to make you, like, feel better for a bit. I guess you could use them all in combat. Personally, I like to grow plants and then grind them up into salves and powders. Yeah, so basically, like, what would happen is you would use it, you would spend 1 action to use it, and then for 3 rounds after, this would be ineffective and wear off after that.
Might be useful for a boss battle.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I'll take
Right, so you can buy however many you want and can afford. I'll trust you to know that. There you are. That's the herbalist.
Okay. I will take a potion of the flexibility. Because upping my dex die to a 12 for 3 rounds. Nothing to
Fuck
sneeze
yeah.
at.
I don't need any of that performance enhancement.
Says the guy who just drank, like, fucking, dragon liver stew?
Yep. And
That's
I drink a
permanent.
heart potion.
Doesn't count, it's permanent.
That permanently altered my body chemistry. It's different. And better? Yeah, and then that's it. That's all that character really has to it. It's a shop.
All natural claims the cat man.
It's always fun to meet another magic user.
Oh, I don't use magic. I just grind up plants for stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
She uses magic. She's just not aware. Okay. Other places we'd like to hit?
Yes, there is something called a Sky Oak Museum, and I am curious.
All right. As you approach the Sky Oak Museum, it strikes you just how freaky fucking big that tree growing out of it is. And when you go in, it's all about the tree. And it turns out it is rumored that the Sky Oak, this enormous tree growing out of this museum, or rather, growing out of Langchild that this museum has been built around to sort of shelter and take care of, is believed to be a rare seedling from Germanor's famous Yggdrasil tree. The tree so large that you can see it from miles away from Germanor's border. This tree is nowhere near that big, and yet you could see it possibly being the equivalent to Yggdrasil that, like, a tiny little seedling tree is to a normal-sized oak. At the moment, the Sky Oak is being pruned of dead branches. The people of Langchild really do want to keep this tree alive, and so they make sure that if there's a branch that looks diseased or withered or just not helping the tree, they prune it. And people are collecting, the branches because they are incredibly good, valuable wood. And if you were to collect a branch, and you could each collect 1 branch each if you'd like, you reason out that these could be used to make a very powerful magical staff if you found a person who was capable of crafting such a thing. They aren't staves on their own, but they are ingredients to make a staff.
Okay.
Charles will definitely pick one up for his size.
Between the 5 of you, you can get a total of 5.
I'll take that.
Grr.
Sure.
Oh, and Charles would just, seeing the tree, he would take a handful of the dirt and just kind of spread it for around the roots itself.
You feel the tree thrum, like just like hum, almost as if trying to thank you for your gift. And you have a connection with the Sky Oak. There's no reason an Yggdrasil baby can't be summoned.
Nice. Well, I do
There
have
is
a
an
new level
arcana
up at the
of
end
the
this.
oak.
Yeah, and there is a level up about to be happen at the end. So
All right. You want to do the carpenter to just sort of finish off this section of town? Then we'll move on to the other corners.
yeah, let's go see Oily Josh.
All right. You go and you see the carpenter. He's sort of this haggard old man. He's working tirelessly. You can see that he's building a whole lot of shit in his shop. And then when you guys come in, he's like, "Oh, fuck, no, I've got so much work."
No problems, good sir. We were just poking our heads in and saying hello.
Well, hello. If you're, excuse me, I've got there's so many buildings that need to be fixed.
This is true.
Because of the ogre attack, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a shame what he did to the magistrate.
Any clue why the ogres attacked?
Well, he stops and he sort of rubs his chin. Why are you asking?
We literally just got to town and we're curious.
We're a roving band of adventurers, and we would love to help with problems.
That too.
Like
We were
ogres.
hoping to meet with the magistrate as well, so it saddens us to hear of his untimely demise.
He motions for you to follow him for a second. And he leads you to his office. And he says behind the closed doors, and you realize very solid soundproof walls. The magistrate found one of the king's crown jewels. He's been keeping it safe for years now, getting more and more paranoid that someone might find out. A lot of bad people are after these jewels. This is my personal theory that that's what the ogres were after. Because when they went through the rubble, his vault, where he was keeping the thing, gone.
The entire vault picked up and taken.
Ogres, they're strong. If you're actually here to do something about it, I might have some things that'll help you. And he goes to his own little, vault, and like a safe. And he unlocks it, and he opens it, and he gives you 3 items. One is a rumpled brown hat. Another is a whip. And finally, there is a strange contraption that looks like... It's like vaguely in an L shape. It's got like a metal tube at the top and like a wooden handle and like a little tiny metal clicky device. And you receive the rumpled brown hat. When rolling against a clock, the player wearing this hat can reroll 1 check free of charge, no costing Fabula points. The Wondrous Whip, which does double dex plus 5 to attack, does no damage, but does render any enemy it successfully hits fucking prone until their next turn. When fucking prone, the enemy cannot take any actions, no matter how many it gets per round, and its defense and magic defense is lowered by 5. And finally, the Weird Boomstick, a strange weapon of unknown origin that's small enough to hide in one's pocket. Can only be used 6 times before it runs out of ammo forever. Double dex plus 10 attack, high roll plus 50 damage.
Did you just give us a pistol?
I just gave you a pistol. I just had a carpenter give you a rumpled brown hat, a whip, and a pistol. For those who don't know, Harrison Ford was a carpenter before he was an actor.
Yeah.
Yep. should tell them that they're doing acting lessons down at
Does that
Hansen.
does that boomstick give double damage if the guy is showboating at you before you shoot him?
I'm gonna say I didn't write that down, but yes, absolutely.
God
Well,
damn.
Well,
They're just for free?
So long as you avenge the magistrate and get that jewel back so it's not in bad hands, we'll call it square.
Edmund's gonna take the rumpled brown hat.
There may be some very important moments that hat saves you from. Some dangerous, perilous moments where time is of the essence, and that hat gives you just the right bit of luck.
Yes.
Make sure you grab it before the sliding stone door gets it.
Yep.
Edmund doesn't have a
I'm
hat,
laugh-
so it makes it perfect.
I'm laughing at the status effect for the Wonder Strip. Hits is
Yeah.
fucking proud. Wow, fucking proud.
Yeah, who wants the Wanderer's Whip?
Probably you or Scrun, since you're the Dex people, right?
I do have a lot of decks.
Like, it doesn't do damage, but like if you're fighting, say, a boss monster with an attack 5 times per turn, and you render it fucking prone, suddenly that's a very nice advantage.
Yeah,
It
I'd
is.
say give it the bright eyes.
Okay, I'll
Yes.
take it. It would be really funny if we gave the dragon a fucking gun.
Yeah,
That's
I was
fair.
gonna say the only choice for the gun is definitely Scrun. Is that a dragon? It's got a gun.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, God.
What is it with shady characters and getting just the weapons you don't expect? Like Tommy has a grenade.
I also emphasize that in the entire canon of Midgahheim, before and long after this, guns are never a thing that anyone is going to invent. Like, no one's going to invent guns, partly because guns seem kind of unnecessary when you can just read hard enough and learn to shoot fireballs out of your fingertips. So, how the fuck did this get here? The carpenter doesn't know. He doesn't know. He just found it one day. How the fuck did this get here? That's a question I will never answer.
Ash
But
Williams.
now the dragon has it.
Because a fantasy setting needs some things that make you just go, wait, what the fuck?
I love finding those little anachronistic moments in RPGs.
While fucking prone and make it just, it's delightful.
Yeah, I had fun. Alright, so that's the carpenter. Places to go. The 7-in-1 Tavern is just a tavern. You can go there to have an interlude for 10 Zenit. Or 100 Zenit, something like that. Rare Gems is a gem shop. Rare Imports is a curio shop. We can look at their... I'll just post their inventories. We don't have to roleplay it. If you want something, you want something. If you don't, you don't.
There's the mysterious brick tower. I wish to see the mysterious brick tower.
Alright, you go to this mysterious red tower. It stretches preposterously, possibly impossibly high. You're not an expert on building things of stone, but there is a fucking limit to how high you can get, and it feels like this is higher than that. And there is a door, like a single door at the base of the tower. The tower is irregularly dotted with windows, but none are at ground level. The tower itself, it's not much wider than the average house, which again makes its impossible height all the more weird. Normally, something this tall would at least have like a really wide base, whereas this is just sticking like a finger in God's eye.
Yeah, surprised the town's still all speaking the same language.
So definitely a wizard. Maybe a witch. I am only saying wizard because of its slightly phallic nature, but it's just really tall. So it could be a witch. But I'm betting it's a wizard. And then Mont Blanc knocks on the door.
There is no answer, but the door creaks open like out of a 1950s horror film. And you see inside a long, winding staircase up.
All right, Barnaby, we're taking a walk. Do you want to ride in the hood still, or do you want to actually get down and use your legs?
Barnaby uses its
Can
legs.
you understand Barnaby now?
Oh, I've been able to understand Barnaby since the beginning.
I mean, us, everyone else now. Is there going to be a voice?
I'm gonna walk.
Oh, God.
It's me, Barnaby. I'm gonna walk now.
Okay, bud.
Hey, ain't that me?
No, absolutely not. Do not turn Barnaby.
We're not going there, Barnaby. We're not going there, Barnaby. Okay. Are you guys going into the spooky wizard tower?
Barnaby.
If he does, he's gonna get eaten because Barnaby's Barnaby's a barnacle. It's gonna just chomp his head right off.
Dude,
Are we going up the creepy wizard tower?
Yeah.
I'm going there.
Okay.
I guess so.
I've for me, I've always just expected, like, I understand what Barnaby says. I don't think Barnaby says words. But there is a 5 Zenit bet right now with Barnaby on if it's a witch or a wizard.
I kind of feel like understanding Barnaby is like understanding Chewbacca, where he's still just making inarticulate noises. You just say, yeah, of course, Barnaby.
Pretty much.
You just understand what the inarticulate noises mean. All right, so you guys walk up the spiraling stair, and as you do, sconces light themselves as you go up further and further. And they light not just with fire, but specifically with an unnaturally crimson fire, giving the whole tower this red, eerie glow. And you walk for a while, not long enough for your legs to hurt, but long enough for you to at least at one point stop and go, how long have I been in this fucking tower? Before finally you stop on a floor where there's a door out of the stairway.
Hello?
Yes. The door opens, and you see a room that is, one, much bigger than the tower was, like in terms of width, on the outside.
Oh no.
2, it is filled with things, almost labyrinthine shelves and tables with books and skulls and bones and gems and all these magic items, things that have clearly like artificial construction that move and seem to regard you with eyes made of like brass or glass or marble. Just all these strange things. There's a stuffed alligator hanging from the ceiling, only it's not actually stuffed, because when you pass by it, it looks at you all and it snaps its jaws gleefully. And eventually, as you wind your way through the labyrinth of shelves and tables, you find a window, and sitting in a chair by the window is an enormous bloated man with grayish blue skin and a long, ragged white beard that curls down his chest, across his legs, and into a pile on the floor like a snake. He has a long a long crowned red hat with a pointed crown, and when he turns to look at you, you see that his gaunt, almost decayed looking face has no eyes in its sockets. Instead, there are just black, gaping holes of darkness with tiny pinpricks of red light. And as he twists his corpse grin of a mouth into a gnarled grimace, you see his rotten, jagged, crooked teeth. And he says,
Who are you?
Hello, I am Mont Blanc. These are my friends. We were new arrivals in town and were admiring your towers, so we went, what if we swung by and said hello?
And the Great Wizard stands up, and despite you knew he was big, but like when he stands up, he's got this hunchback, and his head is roughly 6 feet off the ground, but the top of his hunch is a good 8. He is this big, bloated thing. And his hands are long fingered and have even longer nails. And he says, "Your name again?"
Oh, apologies. And he's about to say it, and he pauses in that concern and just goes, shrugs. Mont Blanc is my name, and this is Barnaby, my good friend. Gesturing to Barnaby. And these are my traveling companions.
A barnacle goose.
Yes.
I have not seen one in a long time.
Rescued him from a marketplace. They were going to eat him. I found his use better as a traveling companion.
You, and he points to Charles. Are you Mediterranean?
Mediterranean descent, yes.
Your ancestors, do they come in one of the conquests?
Yes.
Which one do you remember?
Was there a specific one that Acerton was founded from? 7th?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Not the first.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was the 7th.
I was not here for that one. I was in Ruslovac. You think they're gonna do it again?
If they are, they haven't forewarned us.
I doubt they would. You're native now. You! He points to Edmund.
Yeah?
What changed your form?
This witch named Bleak Alice.
Oh, Bonnie Ann's at it again, eh?
Oh, of course I know her.
Was the book laugh
Of
too?
course I do! I'm Vormadon the Dread!
Oh.
Yes! Do it!
Oh no.
Does the book laugh also?
Oh, the book laughs.
Is that a well-known wizard name? Like, would Edmund recognize it too?
Yeah, you would. Okay, so Midgahheim lore for you all, and this is. I'm not going to make you roll for this. This is common knowledge. When you hear the name Vormadon the Dread, all of you get a reflexive chill down your spine, because Vormadon the Dread was one of the first wizards in Midgahheim. Before wizardry or sorcery was fully understood, he was there. During the first Mediterranean invasion of Franco-Breton, Vormadon the Dread single-handedly repelled the invasion. And that was when he was young. And now he is literally millennia old.
Charles just kind of looks over at Mont Blanc and is like, "See, I told you I thought there was something magic about this tower."
As magic beings go, there are few that have shaped history as much as Vormadon the Dread Wizard. And you guys just stumbled into his house.
Oh, I should have recognized you, sir. I do apologize. I am... And he pauses to look for the right term. A student under Bleak Annis.
Another member of her coven, I assume.
Still grappling with that term, but yes.
And you, what are the terms of your curse, boy?
Well, has it been really clear to Edmund? I'm trying to remember now.
I don't think you ever parsed it, because you did not pay attention much to the woman that you were being rude to in that encounter.
Yeah.
But you can relay it if you wish. The encounter itself.
Well, I can't say I remember exactly. I was in the woods, taking a break from my hunting party, just being annoyed at them and everything that was coming with life as the heir to knights. And then this woman just stumbled through the forest, and I said how great it would be to take a break or something like that from it all responsibility, and this is her interpretation of that.
Careful what you wish for, sort of thing. And how does
Yes, so-
this break from knighthood treat you so far?
Well, I guess ironically, maybe it's teaching me more about a knight.
Interesting. Think on that, then. You, the one with bright eyes. How did you get involved with this rabble?
Well, involved with them accidentally, mostly. Here, I ran away from home.
Why?
I didn't feel like being sold like cattle.
Yes, as good a reason as any. I too have escaped slavery. You, witch in training, what did Bonnie Ann give you as a task?
Oh, she gave me a tome to fill with encounters with 100 magical creatures and beings.
May I see it?
He looks down at the book and is like, I don't know if I should trust him, but sure. If she gets mad enough, it's Vormodon. This is the mental voices in his head going, it's Vormodon. If she gets mad about it, I'm like, what was I supposed to do? And he will pass the tome to her. There is a picture. There is a page with a image of a statue we saw in another town in Grimhelm. That's the one I've been using to communicate with her.
He's flipping through it. Very good. And he finds the statue page, and he looks. He smirks. And then he clicks the page, and ink begins to run from his fingernail. And he starts writing something in. And he watches and waits. And gives a little laugh, closes the book, and hands it to you.
He nods gratefully, almost bowing, but he's not. Mont Blanc doesn't know how to handle this.
Bonnie Ann says you all are on a quest to restore the king's crown. And she would like me to help you. I don't know if I'm so inclined. There are many would-be heroes who have sought my aid. I feel the need to have you prove your worth before I give it. Bring me proof that you have bested a powerful foe, and I shall give you a boon. For each great task you bring proof of to me, a new boon shall be added to aid you in your quest to restore the king's crown and set right the flow of magic in this kingdom. Is this amenable to you, friends of Bonnie?
That's a very strong word.
Yes, that is amenable to us. Thank you.
Sounds fine to me.
Get out of my tower.
You
And he swishes his hand, and immediately you guys are out at the entrance, and the door slams shut.
Yeah, after learning he single-handedly stopped the first Mediterranean invasion, Charles is just like, oh god.
Mont Blanc is hands on
Zeus
knees.
Almighty.
He's Wong's like hands on his. He's like, how did
seemed
we
nice.
survive that? He was he was nice, but it's Vormadon. I wouldn't have just walked in.
Well, next time we can bring him tea. How about that?
I definitely thought he was going to tell us what he wanted us to defeat.
I wonder if it's the 4 beasts.
So out of character, any bonus boss would count.
Okay.
There's one you guys have left, just sort of conveniently waiting for you. The 5 masters, because they're a side quest, would count. Technically, if you could get proof of defeating Peg, that would count, and same with Nelly and Jenny. And there's going to be a bonus boss in this upcoming arc, so all that counts.
Okay.
Was the one we left behind the Crypt Dragon?
No, well, I mean, typically that would have counted, but you guys ended that amicably. You're not going to fight that guy. No, the one you left behind was the Fomorian.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to defeat
Yeah,
all of
takes-
them. You don't have to defeat any of them, but Vormadon will give you a specific boon for anyone that you can prove you defeated.
We could go fight the Fomorian.
The fuck's a Fomorian?
The thing in the pit back in the fairyland.
Okay. So, that's it for plot stuff for the most part. What you do know is that, having walked around town talking to people, I'm just going to give this to you. We're not going to have to roleplay it. There is the belief that the ogres came. The ogres came from the docks. They came from the harbor. And there's a belief that the ogres came from a specific island. And we're at the point where I think I can actually just reveal the entire map to you. Yeah, because there's really nothing else as a big surprise left. I don't think.
Now that we've read the 2 location books.
Yep. So here is the No Small Feat world map revealed. So if you see, there is an island that has a tower that leads to a cloud castle.
Mm-hmm.
And the ogre that is believed that the ogres came from that island.
Okay.
So if you were to charter a boat, you could go out to that island or any of the other islands and areas in the bay, and see if you can maybe get that gem from the magistrate. But we'll have to figure that out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Indeed.